Hello all, it is I, Alyssa. I also go by Lyss or Alsira, whichever is okay. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a subscriber or lurker, welcome back. If you see me looking down here, that's because my phone is right here with the script. This video is going to be a bit different from my recent uploads, in which it'll be more of an update. As you can tell, I haven't been uploading as much on this channel, and the same can be said of my Instagram page, Alsira-creations. A big reason for that silence is the fact that I'm currently working on the second draft to my debut novel, Hollow River. And I have made videos about my debut novel, so I'm going to link that down in the description. Before we continue, how about an intro? Hi, hello. As I said before, I'm Alyssa. I'm 27 and I live in New York, born and raised. I'm an indie writer and a digital artist. I have a BA in English, creative writing, with a minor in film and video studies. I also have an MFA in creative writing. I have self-published 2 poetry books, Kaleidoscope and Death Rose. With that said, I am not an expert on the English language, English literature, the craft of writing, the craft of film productions, nor digital art. I encourage you all to share, like, comment on this video. We are respectful in the comments, not assholes. Let's carry on. This will be in kind of an update video, as I said before. I usually post monthly updates on my Substack for free. I do have a paid option, which is $5. It's not an obligation, but it will be greatly appreciated. I also have a Ko-Fi where you can commission art or donate. So the reason why I haven't been up to date on my videos is mostly due to the fact that I'm working on the second draft of my debut novel, Hollow River. I've said that before already. You heard me talk about this several times in previous videos. This won't go into great depth on the story. It will be more on the progress. If you want to learn more about the story and its characters and topics explored, those videos will be linked down below. So on April 19th, I had completed the first draft of Hollow River. It was 4 documents, each a part of 1 book. I do not know if this will be a standalone or a series. We'll see towards the final stages. It has been arduous. 2.5 years of writing. There were times where I just wanted to leave the project and come back to it like a month later or so, but for some reason, Hollow River had personal elements that I just couldn't leave in the dust. I do have other projects that are happening. See these for that. So now, since I've completed the first draft, what am I doing? Am I sending this to an editor? Not yet. Am I crediting this to an agent? Hell no, way too early for that. Plus, this is the first draft and 4 documents. You can't send all of that. This is not me saying I feel it's crap. It is crap. It's supposed to be crappy. It's a fucking first draft. Since I'm indie, I have a very limited budget for services. So I'm taking on the editing and revising myself for the first rounds. You might think, isn't that a bad idea? Not if you're willing to be critical of yourself. You see, when I was in the final semester of grad school, we had a thesis, and my thesis advisor helped me write 100 pages of a sci-fi novel in progress of 3 sons. I've talked about that about 100 times. So I go back to this because my thesis advisor taught me a way to edit/revise my own work. First, write it out. Then, when you're done, take a break. You can also take breaks while writing. Don't tire yourself out. For like a week, a month, as long as you feel refreshed or let go of the story. Then, go back and read what you wrote. There has been many cases where that has not happened. I.e., these 2 hot topics. Then, mark that shit up. Finally, rewrite that shit up. But the revised one, not from scratch. So how's that process for me? I gotta say, reading and editing were my favorite parts so far. Writing a new draft, it's like picking up parts of my brain that are still functioning. My brain cells are hiding. Am I editing the whole draft? Yes, I am. Did I edit the whole thing? No, I did not. It's almost 1,500 pages. You crazy? I know I am. What I did was print out every chapter, because I do have large chapters. So every 50 pages or so. I often write like a screenwriter, so in my mind, every page is a minute or action of dialogue. Though if these chapters were to be episodes, you'd be sitting in for 2 hours in some episodes, which is why I'm editing and chopping this shit down. I'm pruning a bitch. So the first chapter and prologue are in total of 48 pages. I actually just finished that. Not bad so far. Then I printed out the second chapter, which is right here. And after this video is done, I'll get right on to marking that shit up. This is also around like 40-ish pages or so. I know the page number on the final page said 93. Numbers are not my forte. The process of editing and rewriting each chapter or every 50 pages or so is good practice and less taxing because you'll be focusing on the foundation of the novel rather than attacking the whole picture. This was something I struggled with for my thesis, where I start off with like the world building for the majority of the beginning, and it took away from the plot and the characters were just NPCs. Imagine how I felt when the whole Milo Winter drama was happening. My God, am I glad I can change. Hey, so this part of the video is going to look a little different because I'm recording this before I record the full video. For some reason, I just feel like recording this now instead of later, but whatever. A little interlude here. I just finished read The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and what I've been doing is I have a list of books that I'm reading. So I have a list of books that are the ones that are not clicked off. I'm going to put it on the screen here somewhere. The ones that are not clicked off are books that I've yet to read, and the rest are books that I've read. When I started this list, it was like 26 books. You know, it came up to like 34, I think. I'm going to start the wheel, or the random number generator, as I call it. And our numbers are starting from 10, which is the lowest number on the list so far, to 34. And if we land on 27, you're going to see the worst version of me, because I absolutely love this series, and I gotta continue it. Okay, so here we are, 10 to 34. Ignore the number, it comes up when you put it up. 10 to 34. Generate. We got 10. Number 10, and that is Pieces of a Song by Diane de Prima. So, if you don't know Diane de Prima, she, I think was or is a writer. They're especially during like the 50s and 60s, like after World War II. So like, in the US, after World War II, there was like a counterculture movement known as the Beat generation, and that was mostly like, you know, represented by like men, like Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, yeah, William S. Burroughs, that's who I was thinking of. So, those three guys, William, Allen, and Jack, those are like the three most prominent names you're going to hear about when you learn about the Beat generation. And then you have like Lucien Carr and Herbert Hunk. But there's also like, the women. See, most of this generation has been taken over by like white men, and like they never really learn more about like, you know, black men or like people of color or even women. And so they were kind of like, you know, the silent voices in that generation. And Diane de Prima, she was like one of those silent voices. Let me see if she's still alive. No, she passed away in 2020. So I have her book, Pieces of a Song, that I'm gonna read. So, yeah. On with the video. I know it said some pulp, but this orange juice has like a lot of pulp for my taste. Another reason why I've been a little quiet is that besides working on Hollow River, I'm also working on other projects. This is my third poetry book, a short story collection, a musical project, and some digital art. So a while back, I uploaded this video, and because the video is quite large to send over to YouTube, I had to clear up some storage, which included deleting apps. One of them was Medibang, my art program. I have an account with Medibang and thought all my work, including the ones I was working on, would have been saved on the account, regardless of deleting the app. Little did I know, when I re-downloaded Medibang, only the art that was saved to cloud storage was still there. Everything else was gone. So I'm baffled, angry, grieving. Fortunately, all of the artworks that was deleted, only one of them was a whip that I was still working on. Whip means work in progress. The rest were all the way up in my socials. Still, kind of mad at myself for not knowing that. So I'm redoing my whip. I'm also working on art for Hollow River. I did have sketches. I haven't worked on those sketches. Besides those projects, I'm also working on this channel. I got videos to make. The thing is, because I don't have a set schedule and YouTube is not my job, I don't keep up with the trending topics as much as I should. I have caught up a bit of a wave when it came to Milo Winter, and Shy Girl did rather well. Everything else just feels blah. Especially when it comes to my video regarding my works. It's radio silent. Like I said in the previous video, I'm trying to copy the style of other authors on his site to gain some traction. It's a work in progress. There is something I just want to express, and that is burnout. I don't have the same drive I had when I was in college or high school. I'm an adult, an unemployed adult trying to make something out of herself. I see content creators making this kind of video, and I aspire to that. Of course, I can never reach that pinnacle or aesthetic. I can only be me. So I'm doing my best, whatever makes me happy, and making sure that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing and engaging in conversation. I want us to be a community. I'm also very tired. I'm autistic. I got ADHD. I have chronic illnesses. Let me sleep, man. The thing is, I love writing and digital art. I don't like it when it feels like a chore or something. I always tell myself is to listen to your body. Because when you're tired, your body will let you know you're tired. This hustle culture is not healthy for any of us. Working more than what your body can handle is not good for you. That's all for this video. If you reached this far, comment any emoji. I would love to hear your opinions or whatever you're working on. Be respectful, not an asshole. I hope to see you all in the next video. Buy my books. Support me via Linktree. Make sure to hydrate and be safe. Bye!